Hi, everybody.
Hello, I'm Ryan.
I'm Bethany.
And we are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
And today we're going to be talking about Oh My Goods. Don't forget to stay tuned to the very end for our pounds and inches update.
All right, so Oh My Goods, this is it's just a card game. It's just a really small box of cards. But inside this, there's a ton of game, and it all is focused around this kind of engine building and kind of growing your goods. Oh My Goods.
Oh My Goods!
Let's show you how it works. All right, so in Oh My Goods, everyone's going to start off with one building. That is the char burner. It makes coal. And in the middle there at the bottom, it says that coal is worth $1 a piece. You also start with 7 coal, and you indicate that by putting 7 cards above the card there. It also tells us how to get more coal. During each round, we're going to have the chance to, use all the resources on the left in order to make another coal. And we could even chain together even more resources with the resources on the right to make an additional one. In order to activate the building, we also need a worker. And that worker does a couple things. First of all, it tells us kind of the round order. But then it also gives us an efficient side of the card or a sloppy side of the card. Basically, that says for one resource less, in this case it needs 2 of those, whatever they are, laundries and 1 lumber. We can do that for 1 less. So we can do it for 2 of the linens, I don't know, or 1 linen and 1 lumber, in order to make 1 additional coal. Or that worker can make 2 coal by using all of the needed resources. You're also going to get dealt a hand of 5 cards. Those are going to be some resources that you can use, or you can use them as buildings. They are double-sided cards. They're multi-use cards. So in this case, you can either use it as that resource there, that lumber, or you can try to build it for that price in order to have it be an additional building that you can use. During the first part of each round, you have a chance to draw 2 new cards into your hand, or you can opt to discard your entire hand of cards and draw that amount plus 2 additional. So no matter what, you're going to get 2 more cards, but you can choose to kind of refresh it a little bit to hunt for things you need. Now, in the second phase of the game, you're going to be flipping over cards in the middle of the table, revealing resources. This part, you're only concerned with those resources. They're going to be out there in the middle, and what you're hunting for is 2 of those suns there in the corner. Basically, once you have 2 of those half suns, you've indicated the sun has risen and the day is starting. At that point, you're going to make a call. You're going to say, you know what, I think I have the ability to, I can make that building work. I can use that, and I can do it on my efficient side. Or, you know what, I think maybe this one's the better choice for me, because you only have 1 worker to start the game with. And, you know what, I haven't seen a whole lot of clay yet, so I'm going to go ahead and make it on the sloppy side to account for the fact that I might not see any more clay. You then also have a chance to pick a card from your hand, set it aside, and what you're saying is you have the intention of building that card at the end of the round. But you're not building it yet. You're just saying, if I have enough money and I feel like it, this is the one I'm choosing to build. All right, so in the third phase, we go again. We put out some more resources. Again, only considering the left resource, not what the actual building is. Again, you're looking for 2 of those sun symbols. Once you have 2 more of those sun symbols, you've indicated that the day is done. At that point, wherever your worker is, you see if you have enough requirements in order to make those items that you're trying to make. If you don't, you can substitute in additional cards from your hand using the symbol on the left, and then whatever goods you make, you pull from the top of the deck, and you produce those goods. Now again, you only have 1 worker at the start of the game. However, you can hire apprentices. They usually have a prerequisite. This one says I have to have 2 white cards built in order for me to use this, and a price. This one says it costs 4 coins. Victory points are at the top right, and this is what it's going to produce if I have the resources. So if I had this one purchased, if I had the correct prerequisites in the money, I could place that there, and then in a future round, I'd be able to use 2 different buildings. Now there are a ton of different buildings in this game. Let me just kind of show you some of those. There are buildings that kind of let you do things more efficiently. So this one says, every time from here on out, you have 1 clay kind of built in. You would not need to use a card that kind of is the resource itself. It's always there for you. The glass maker allows you to use any number of resources. This one says 11 in order to make a glass. So there's no specification as far as what the resources are. My favorite thing to do in this game is to kind of get an engine going. Get some things that kind of turn into things that can turn into more things. So we start with our char burner like normal. Then we have this mill here that produces, whatever that is, soccer grain. Let's say we've got goods on both of those. You could do something like build a bakery. And once you're able to create the goods on the left, what you get to do is, like normal, you would create a good there, And then over here it says you can take the goods off of these in order to make more of the bread, more of the bakery, more of the bread in the bakery. On top of that, you have something like a food factory that can turn the bread that you just made into, even more food that's worth even more points. Those buildings are obviously very expensive. There's 17 coin. It gets you 5 victory points at the end of the game. So those are kind of end game kind of plays that you make usually. But it's really fun to kind of see how this game churns and churns and churns, and you get more and more efficient goods and more expensive goods in order to buy bigger buildings, buy more apprentices to help you out. It's all about getting the engine going. So the game is going to go until one person has 8 buildings in front of them, including their char burner. At that point, that round is going to finish. Then you're going to play one more final round. At that point, at the end of that round, every single one of the buildings in play is going to make its production, even if there's not a worker or an apprentice below it. You're going to add up all the points that are on your buildings. You're going to add up all the points that are on your apprentices. And then, for everything that's left over, all your goods, you're going to convert that into money, and then you're going to divide that number by 5, and that's how many points you get from all your goods. At the end of all of that, whoever has the most points wins.
I love me some multi-use cards. It might be my favorite game mechanic. Do you think it's my favorite game mechanic?
You mentioned it a whole lot, so I think so.
We're going to have to rate our favorite game mechanic so I know what it really is. But I love that. I love how you can build it, or you can use it for good, or you can use it for
The resource.
Just like
The sun's hidden in there.
Yeah. All of the game is in the cards and all the different things you can do with them. It's all there. It's not like boards, it's not anything else. It's just these cards.
This game is deceptively complex. I mean, really, there's a whole lot of depth here for just a small box of cards. If you're looking for, bang for your buck, how much game can I get for a small package and a small, price tag? This is it. I mean, there's really a lot here.
I feel like the games we've played, we've been really close in our scoring, which is really weird because we'll be complaining about, trying to work under our wrong building and not being able to produce anything. But then somehow, towards the end of the game, we're always within like 5 or 6 points of each other. So I like that even though we're doing different things, even though it feels like we're completely struggling and can't do anything, the gameplay at the end still is pretty equal.
Yeah, I really like the way this kind of ramps up. How you start with that one style of good, it becomes a different kind of good, and then you can have a different building. You combine those two things to make another whole kind of good, and you use all that money to build even more lavish and expensive buildings. It just ramps up really nicely. It comes to a close really really quick. It feels like the building up is a little bit slow, but then once you're going, it's really going fast.
Yeah, the only real issue I have with this game was it was really hard for me to learn. I don't know if that's the game's fault or if that's my fault, but I had a really hard time getting it.
I think it's neither your fault nor... Well, it's not your fault. It might be my fault because I had an equally hard time teaching it. This is not... when you play a card game, you have an expectation that it's going to be simple to learn. And even though the rulebook is really, really small, it's just, for whatever reason, it's not intuitive, maybe. It doesn't click right away.
Yeah. I wouldn't blame you. You're a really good teacher.
All right, we're blaming the game. There it is. We're blaming the game. It's not an easy to learn or teach game. But that being said, if you can push through and by all means pay no attention to my little kind of overview because it's not the rules explanation. Yeah. I couldn't teach it to you that succinctly because it would just take more time than that. It's just, for whatever reason, it's just kind of wonky.
Yeah, so I actually really liked it once we understood it because it's so fast, but it's really crunchy for as small of a game that it is. I really like it, but I don't know if I'd want to suffer through somebody learning it. I know that's like so selfish of me, but I probably only want to play this with us just because I wouldn't want to teach
with other people
anybody.
that know it. Yeah. And I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that I'm going to break this out all that often to teach new people the game. And if I'm going to...
Even though we like it.
Yeah. I'm not sure if anyone wants to play it, we want a quick game, absolutely. We're going to have a blast.
Oh, yeah.
Engine building in a really small package, love it. But I'm not going to want to sit through or I want to teach this game to someone when I could be playing a bigger game that has the same complexity of teaching it. All right, so that's our thoughts on Oh My Goods. It's actually really, really fun, shockingly fun.
Yeah.
Not a fun explanation, though.
Well, make sure to stay tuned to the very end for our pounds and inches segment. Until then, you can subscribe to us on YouTube under Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews. You can follow us on Facebook under Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews. You can follow us on Instagram to see the games we're currently playing under Ryan and Bethany. And you can also chat with us on Twitter under Ryan and Bethany 1.
All right, well, thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. We will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for staying tuned to the very end for our pounds and inches update. This is where Ryan and I talk about the things we're doing to achieve better health in our lives, sometimes where we're struggling, and also our successes.
All right, so let's be real. In the past couple of months, all this crazy stuff's been going on in the world. I packed on some pounds. I went the opposite way in my weight loss.
It's called the Quarantine 15 hashtag.
And mine was probably more like quarantine 50.
No.
That's what it felt like a lot. But the good news is, I had a kind of turning point about 10 days ago, and I really turned it on, and I tried something new, and I am down 15 pounds. Or I estimate to be about 15 pounds.
Yeah.
And so I'm really excited. There's a lot of, really healthy things going on mentally for me, and that kind of matters a lot. There's still kind of a lot of anxiety in the air right now, and working through that. But my portion sizes are down, and I'm just really excited.
Yeah. Thank you so much for staying tuned, and we hope to hear from you soon.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.